New York's classic rock, Q1043.
Good morning. I want to introduce you all to the Commissioner of the New York City Department of Small Business Services, Jonnel Doris. Oh my God, what a time to be having your job, and what, you were just appointed in May, like almost time to the pandemic.
Absolutely, Shelly. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, look, it's been a really tough time for many of our small businesses, but really an honor to really come and do all we can to assist and help them through this crisis. For us here at SBS, that's what we are made to do. That's what this agency it does. Really, we service our small businesses, and so what a great time to be here to help bring the city back.
But what a challenge you have. I mean, first of all, the latest statistic I heard is that 90%, perhaps even more than 90% of restaurant owners in New York City couldn't afford to pay the rent in December. Then there was the statistic that only about 11% of office workers have gone back to offices in Manhattan, which means that there's the fallout for all the restaurants and the small businesses because the people aren't there. How bad is it from your perspective? Because you're seeing things that we don't see.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we know it's tough time for small businesses. We're out on the corridors. We've done over 70 since the pandemic ensued, and then the reopening started. And look, we walk into those restaurants, we walk into those storefronts, and we hear the concern. We see the concern, and we see that the challenge is there. From an unemployment standpoint, we're at one point of about 1 million people unemployed now, about 500,000. So look, we're going in the right direction, but certainly need to do everything we can. That's why, of course, the vaccine, pushing the vaccine is very important, making sure folks get vaccinated, make sure folks are following the health regulations so that we can get back. One of the things I always say is, look, we don't want to open up and then have to be shut down again. That is the worst thing that can happen. And that's what we're hearing from small businesses. So at SBS, what we've been pushing and advocating really hard for is, the federal stimulus work that, we're waiting for. We have PPP, of course, but that, we're trying to make sure that the restaurant component of that stimulus package also comes through. So we're advocating on the federal level, we're advocating on the state level also to make sure that resources are given to the local municipalities directly so that we can do more to help our restaurants and small businesses. And we've launched a fair share campaign to make sure that we are getting our fair share in the city, our Curtains Up program also for the shuttered venues, Broadway and other types of theatrical and arts, the arts industry, to make sure that they come back. So we have specific things designed for them that we know in those particular industries who have really been hit hard, that there's support here at SBS for them.
There's been such frustration, particularly in the restaurant business, because owners just don't understand, why was it okay to go, shop at a Target and that's all fine, or go to the supermarket, but they have such restrictions, even being reopened, such restrictions, and they don't get it, and a lot of the public doesn't get that either.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think part of our job at SBS is, helping these businesses to understand what the regulatory environment is. And I think that is critical, right? Because if you know what the rules are, if you understand what the challenges are, you can actually adapt and actually be successful during these difficult times. So look, we've launched our small business advocates who go out there and make it easier for these businesses to understand the rules and requirements. We do our virtual compliance checks now, so you don't even have to go in person. You can do it in a virtual environment. We've done over 300 of those already throughout the city. Again, bringing those guidance, making sure folks are following the regulatory requirement. And one of the biggest things that we have really to help small businesses just navigate this is our hotline. And as simple as it sounds, we've got all 55,000 businesses who called into that hotline and we've helped already, right? And so we're saying, look, we understand the challenge and it is difficult, but a lot of the regulations, as you know, come from the state and they pass it down to the city. We are there to interpret them, to help them comply and make sure that they have a fighting chance.
What is that hotline number, Commissioner?
Absolutely. So the hotline is 888 SBS for NYC, or the numbers 888-727-4692.
I am speaking to the Commissioner of the New York City Department of Small Business Services, Jonnel Doris. I was wondering, what are you hearing from that hotline and from people in the field? What are the major concerns and how can your service help?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're, the number one thing, of course, we're dealing with is the reopening. So how do I reopen safely? How do I reopen within the rules, regulations? I talked a little bit about what we're doing as pertains to webinars, one-on-one technical assistance and support, virtual compliance, and those kinds of things. The second thing we hear about is financial assistance. I need some money. I need help. I need, to get a loan. I need a grant. Can you connect me to the federal resources, philanthropic resources? And we've done that to over 5,000 businesses, to $125 million so far during the pandemic. And then the last thing that we do hear about, is also around, where can I find additional support for employees, or what can I do to help, my employees adapt during this time? It's a bit difficult. We're all trying to figure it out. And so, look, we've launched several programs, including our Train Your Employees program, where we're offering free resources to help bridge the digital divide for these particular businesses and work with their employees in order for those employees to be successful. The businesses are successful. Certainly our communities will come back even faster if we do that.
How can you help with small businesses that have commercial lease issues right now? And how can that change? Because that seems to be a fluid situation. We reach a deadline every few months and people are holding their breaths.
Shelly, look, this is one of the most trying situations that a small business has to face. Unable to get the same clientele, in some cases 50, 70% down in activity, in business activity we're seeing in some industries. But this is one of my favorite programs that we have, probably second to our financial programs. It's called our Commercial Lease Assistance Program. So if you are a small business owner, you can call into our hotline or check us out online. We have a commercial lease assistance program that helps you, our CLA program, provide free legal services to small businesses to help them navigate their lease renewals, breaches of contract, and landlord harassment issues, lease termination issues, all types of negotiation for free, working with you and your landlord, bringing them together. We've increased funding for this program last year by $300,000. Now it's a $1.5 million program. And the mayor recently announced that we'll continue to actually supply the resources to make sure that this program is ongoing. And so again, I know this is a humongous pressure, a big deal for a lot of our small businesses, and our commercial lease assistance program is helping in that regard.
Well, that's helping with legal issues, right? How about monetary help? How can they get monetary help?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the PPP program, the federal program that we have our fair share campaign for our small businesses, a portion, 40% of that forgivable loan is for overhead. And so you can actually utilize that for rent, for utilities, and those types of expenses. We also had in the past, we've been helping businesses with our loan products as well, which there's no restriction on the percentage that you can use for rent relief. But this problem is huge. It's big. It's probably within the billions of dollars that we have need for, and that's why again we go back to the fact that the federal aid and stimulus package is so important for us to get that type of rent relief aid directly from the stimulus so that we can get it to these small businesses to help them come back.
How much worse are things for small businesses in the Black community?
Wow, Shelley, you just hit a nerve there, because what we've seen is, unfortunately, in the Black community, things are much, much, much worse. 3 times as likely Black businesses are to be rejected by their bank for funding. We know that during the pandemic, the New York Fed did an assessment, and Black businesses are twice as likely to be closed during the pandemic. We also understand historically, for Black businesses, 40% of those businesses had cash reserves to help them during this time. So you're looking at a dire situation, both from a systemic issues and challenges of getting the resources that these businesses need, to the fact that they've been hit the hardest and are in industries such as retail and restaurants and so forth, that have been hit the hardest during the pandemic. On the other side too, we do see some bright spots, right? We see that Black-owned firms are growing at 4 times the rate as white firms in the city, meaning that Black entrepreneurs are starting businesses. They are out there, they're looking for support and help, but they are starting businesses. And of course, Black women are the fastest growing demographic of entrepreneurs in the country. And so we see a big disconnect with the number of businesses that are growing and where the jobs are being placed, et cetera, and the resources that are available to these businesses in order to help them survive. And that's the biggest challenge that we have right now in the community.
I'm speaking with the commissioner of the New York City Department of Small Business Services, Jonnel Doris. Now, this is something I'm just wondering if moving forward past the pandemic, are you having discussions about what is going to happen if the whole workplace situation changes, in that fewer people will be working from offices, period, in New York City, and more people doing work from home? What happens then? Is there a discussion about, because you see, I think this just accelerated a sea change that we expected, not as dramatically, not as quickly, but now it's been proven, yes, you could do your job. Not everybody, but yes, a lot of people can do their job from home. So what kind of talks are you having about how to help small businesses handle that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we've all having ongoing conversations of what we, are framing up as our new normal, right? Which is this reality that at some point, businesses are having employees work from home. I think the best solution to that is a robust vaccine program that the city has initiated. Once folks feel that they're safe, they will come back. I mean, no one wants to be home working from home all the time. I mean, I've got 2 children, and we love them.
You were saying that they're driving you crazy today.
We've been home with them a year, and it's been
know.
amazing. But thank God, from time to time, because they're small, they're able to go back to school, and it presented a real opportunity for us to continue to sort of sanely go about our day, and it's tough. Obviously, our respect for teachers and others are just grown tremendously, even as it was before. But certainly, this is a real challenge. Look, I think everybody wants to get back out. We want to get the city back out and come back again. I think people want to go shop at their local stores. They want to walk into the store that they know. They want to say hello to those entrepreneurs. They want to, greet the guy and get your bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll, as you walk out and come to work. I mean, everybody, it's a community within a community there as well, right? And that's who we are as a city. And certainly I know this is a challenge, right? Going forward, particularly large corporations may be using this as an opportunity to change the way that they do work. But I know workers and New Yorkers like to engage with each other. And so I'm optimistic once we have this robust rollout of the vaccine, the increased testing, and all the health disparities, as we see, are being addressed, I think folks are going to want to come out. And, as going back to our Black Entrepreneurs Program, look, our BNYC work really covers a lot of this too, right? Teaching the businesses how to navigate in this new normal. This new world that we're in. How do these Black entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of color who are struggling the most avail themselves to the public to entice them to come back to their stores, to shop online, yes, but also engage, bring their employees back. The more we can do to help these businesses come back, the better it is for all of us, our communities, and our economy.
Thank you so much. Commissioner of the New York City Department of Small Business Services, Jonnel Doris. Be safe, stay healthy, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning on the Jim Kerr Rock and Roll Morning Show, Q104.3.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.